Hi everyone! This video is for all my bombshells on a budget, and I'm calling it my Anastasia Beverly Hills eyebrow hack. Now, everyone on the internet is a huge fan of life hacks. These are like everyday tasks and chores that you can get done using products that you already have in your house. It's very DIY. And so, in the vein of that, I'm calling this a makeup hack. And the reason why it's an Anastasia Beverly Hills makeup hack is because I'm going to show you the technique behind doing Anastasia Beverly Hills eyebrows without using Anastasia Beverly Hills products. Anastasia Beverly Hills is an eyebrow artist who has a very unique technique for doing eyebrows that I swear has changed my life. I have never gotten so many compliments on my eyebrows as I have when I use this technique. That's why I'm going to show you how to do the technique, but using products that you probably already have in your makeup kit so you don't have to spend money on the Beverly Hills products. I'm assuming that everyone has a concealer, but you're probably used to having a concealer that's 1 to 2 shades lighter than your skin tone because you use it underneath your eyes. Now that's okay because you're going to have to use that concealer as well. What I'm talking about is going out and buying the darkest concealer that you can find in the drugstore, because usually the darkest that they have is like a medium brown. And that can be a universal eyebrow color. If you have blonde hair, you can go with 2 shades darker. So that usually turns into a medium brown. If you have dark hair or black hair, you can go 2 shades lighter, which usually turns out to be a medium brown. What I suggest, however, is going to Amazon.com and picking up one of these concealer palettes. Mine has fallen apart because I use it so often. You can get this anywhere from $3.65 to $11 and change. If you get the one that's $3.65, it's going to take a little bit longer to get to your house because it ships from Hong Kong. But if you are especially a professional makeup artist, it's worth it. I just get 2 or 3 at a time, one for myself and then maybe 1 or 2 for my professional kit. If you're just getting it for yourself and you don't want to wait that long, you can get it from Coastal Scents for about $11 and change through Amazon.com. Now, I would recommend this color because this is kind of the medium brown that I was talking about. It's a universal color. If you need to go a little bit lighter, you can mix these 2 colors together, and that will give you a light brown if you are super blonde and you'd rather do light brown than have like a dramatic medium or dark brown eyebrow. Now for me, since I have auburn hair, I use this red concealer and I mix it with this brown concealer. Now, if you have bright red hair, you can get away with just doing this. But for me, I think I look like a clown, so I like to mix these 2 together. And that's how I get the eyebrow color. This is replacing the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Pomade, which can run you $18. Now, the good thing about the pomade, though, is that it dries to a finish that's more natural looking, where concealer tends to have a shiny kind of look. But no worries, there's a way to remedy that. All you have to do is set it with a matte color eyeshadow. Now for me, this NYX dark brown has been working just fine. NYX has a whole wide range of colors. So you can do a more medium brown instead of a dark brown. You can get like a reddish brown if you have auburn. You can get a charcoal, maybe if you have gray hair, you want to do a charcoal eyebrow. Basically any color that you want, NYX has a single one. Now this is replacing the Anastasia Beverly Hills Duo Powder, which can be about $23. Even if you have to buy 2, because that one comes with 2 that you can mix. Even if you have to buy 2, that's only $5 each. That's only $10. So $10 compared to $23, I think, is a steal. And she also has a brow highlighter. This is a very important part of it because it really helps define the brows. And if you think my face looks weird, it's because I don't have my brows done. This tutorial, if anything, will show you how important it is to have your brows because they really complete the look. It can make or break your look. So for my brow highlighter, I'm going to use a color concealer that I use underneath my eyes. It's 2 shades lighter than my skin color. And I'm going to use this e.l.f. highlighter, but I'm going to use the glow part. I don't want to use this all for my brow highlighter because it is kind of shimmery and I don't want to overkill, but this is really good to just dot for a highlighter. This is replacing the Anastasia Beverly Hills Duo Brow Highlighter, which again is about $23. This is only $3, so 3 as opposed to 23. Now, Anastasia Beverly Hills also sells eyebrow tools like brushes and combs and things like that, but you probably have that in your makeup kit already. All you need is an angled brush, a foundation brush, also a fluffy brush for my e.l.f. highlighter that I'm mixing with my regular highlighting concealer. Off camera, I did one eyebrow, and on camera I'm going to show you how to do the other eyebrow. This tutorial assumes that you already know how to do a basic shaping of your eyebrows. So if you need a more beginning course, then you should click the link to watch my eyebrow shaping video. That gives you a more basic course on how to make sure you have the right shape eyebrow. So this tutorial is kind of a continuation or second part to that. Now I'm going to show you how I did my brow on this side. This is going to be, the concealer is going to be your base for your eyebrow. And I'm going to take this red concealer and this brown concealer and mix them together. I use the back of my palette to make sure that it's mixed to the right color, and also to really evenly distribute the product on my brush. The Anastasia Beverly Hills method, if you can see on this brow, says that you should have a more defined line on the bottom of your brow. So we're going to do that on this brow. And then from the arch to the end, we're going to call that the tail. And don't worry if you make it too thick on the end, because you can always fix that with a lighter color concealer. Alright, and the Anastasia Beverly Hills method also has the theory that you should keep the front of the brow very light. And if you think about it, that makes sense because the front of your eyebrow is usually more sparse. So what I do is make sure that I have the very minimal amount of product on my brush, and I fill in the front part with much lighter strokes than I did the bottom. Alright, so you don't leave it at that because you need to set a concealer. So I'm going to take my dark brown from NYX, and the same concept applies. I want to load up my brush with color for the bottom, and I want to press into the bottom. To make that defined bottom. And then also from the arch to the end, which is the tail. And then the same concept applies. I want to make sure that I get all the excess product off. There's going to be a tiny bit of powder left. And I'm very gently going to fill in the front. Now you still want to fill in all the bald spots because the whole point is to fill in your brows. So you don't want any bald spots, but you definitely want it to be softer towards the front of your brow because it looks more natural. And you can always go back in with your concealer as well. You really want to make sure you have a gradual light to dark look. So you can even have a gradient where it's really light here, then it gets a little darker, and then it's very dark. And to highlight the brow, I'm going to take this concealer that's 2 shades lighter than my skin tone, and I use it a lot, so there's not that much left, but that's fine because you don't need a lot. I'm just loading it kind of on the tip of my concealer brush. Then we're doing a highlight all underneath. And you want to blend it out with your ring finger because you don't want an obvious, really light stripe underneath your eyebrow. And then this is where I'm going to fix the end so it's not as thick. So you want a light color concealer to highlight underneath and the brow bone on the top. You can even take a little bit of concealer if you need to clean up the front of the brow. And I feel like this one's going out a little too much, so I'm going to use just a tiny bit of concealer to make this eyebrow match the other one a little better. And the last thing I'm going to do is take my e.l.f. highlighter, and you just need a teeny tiny bit of this, a dot under your brow, and a dot on the arch. And take your blending brush and blend it out. And this is why I used a combination of the light color concealer and the e.l.f. because I didn't want to put the e.l.f. glowing all the way across because I don't think that would look very natural. Alright, and that's basically it. I mean, you can spend as much time as you want playing around with your eyebrows to get them more even. Just remember that your brows are sisters, but they're not twins. I hope you enjoyed this Anastasia Beverly Hills hack, and hopefully it'll save you some money because all the products that I used are under $20, whereas if you bought the equivalent products in Anastasia Beverly Hills, you would be looking at over $60. So makes a big difference. Big thumbs up. Bye.